Hello and welcome to this month's demonstration video from Smile, Create, Repeat. We're using the some oil paints and other supplies from the January 2019 surprise. So let's get started. We have the oil paints, and I did another video. You'll have to, there should be a link in the notes where I pre-mixed some values with the white, the tube Venetian red, and then some values in between. This is one way to do it. I think it's a little easier to do because you kind of have the base values for what you're trying to do. And this is just a piece of glass, a glass door from an old entertainment center. But you can use a paper plate. Our panel here, this is a gesso board panel. It's already primed, so it's ready to go. And we have our palette knife, which for I'm sure many of you it's going to be very hard to use. But it's really interesting, and you need to let go of using, try not to think of it as using a little brush because you're not going to be able to do it. So you have to figure out different ways to do things and just go with it. We're going to be doing an ALLA PRIMA oil painting, which means it's Italian for doing it in one step. So we're going to paint right now and finish it, and that's it. So it's more like a study. We're going to be painting this still life, and I'll have another video talking a little bit about that to give you pointers or ideas for that. But this one I did, of course, or not of course, but I'm using the sharp edges of that to mimic the edge of the knife, just to give us some practice with the way the paint works and how to use the knife. You can, of course, use a pencil to draw out your composition on here. I'm not going to do that this time because I just want to get into painting. And of course, you could also use your brush with a little paint and thinner. Gamma-Sol is the thinner I use, and really sketch it out quickly on there just to give you some placement ideas. I'm just going to go in and start painting and see what happens. So almost like almost always, let's start with the dark. And maybe I will. Maybe I'll use the knife just to get some little marks. So let's see how I want this here. Maybe like that. So I'm doing the bluish box on top. And something you might want to do, like here, because we're not really using that's a blue box, a white box underneath, and then the tan corrugate underneath. We're not using all those colors, so you might want to do a quick little value sketch with your pencil. Just to give you an idea where the lights and darks are. Just to give you an idea where the lights and darks are. And this is not going to be perfect. I'm okay with that, because I'm just trying to show you some of the techniques with the palette knife, and yes, I'm trying to make it look good. So this edge on the white box is kind of right about there. I don't know if that's the right angle, but that's what I'm putting. So if you put it there, and then you can see, wait, is that right or wrong? And then you can adjust it if you need to. And this box is much shorter. Oh, so this is way up. That's probably less than half. So if this is true, then it's going to be maybe there. Okay. And palette knife technique usually uses more paint than brush, because you can see I really have to, what I'm doing here, I got to put a lot on there. And that's not great because I don't want that meeting right there. So I'm going to move this. And I'm see, I just scraped some of the paint off from there, and that's where the line is I'm going to use now. And that goes just like that. And then this edge is close to this edge, so that's probably right about there or so. Oops, did I mess that up? So, but that's all right. I sure do like this. I did my first, oh, that's neat, interesting. And by doing that, you can see the texture that I'm able to create with this. So that is, I think, pretty good for what I'm trying to show you. Now, the lightest light, I would say, is this edge right here, this spot here. So I'm going to wait. And then this is light 2. So let's go with the, let's see, the darkest is probably the background. So I'm just getting that. Okay, so that is all dark back there, and this should have been a little bigger. See, this is why maybe you do want to do a pencil. And if I was doing this, not for this video, I would probably, well, not probably, I would go back in and fix some of these things, but I just want to keep moving. So this line that I just drew here is the shadow from the box that these are set in, and it goes there, and then it goes up. So let's see if we can put this color. Okay. That needs to be sharper. And then I'm going to go in and put the dark back over it. Okay. And then let's say that is, this mid value is this shadow here, or is this light on the dark brown. And over here is all this light color too, so I'm grabbing it and pulling it so I get a roll on the edge of it. And I'm gonna do that, and then there's the shadow. Of this box, and that turns a little bit like that. Okay. So what value? So this is probably about the same as that if I'm just looking at my 5 values. So I'm going to do that. And then, as you can see, I messed that up there. Or, it's not messing up, but you know what I mean. Interfered with that, but now I'm going to get this light color and try to get that and paint right over that like that. And some of it is going to mix. This is an awkward angle for my hand. Yeah, that's not going to work. So I'm going to So by getting those edges sharp like that, that's what's going to make the shapes hold their form, I think. This here, I'm going to take this darker, this value here on the left edge of my knife, so I can go up in here and then spread that down, and that is the same. That's very close. So that's not how I want it to look, so that, and I think I'm going to do right along the top edge too. Okay, so that really butchered my drawing, but that's all right. I'm going to go in, yeah, that needs to be a little lighter anyway. There's some reflected light on there. And I just want to separate those two, the edge of the background. So now I'm going to go in and cut in there. And come back in with the dark color to make that, to hopefully make that edge sharp. No, and look what I did. I got that down there. That's all right. Oh, that light just changed here. Okay. And now this front edge, I'm going to use this middle tone again. No, I'm not. I'm going to use this lighter tone because that is much lighter. And I'm following that edge there. And that. And I like how I'm actually going to bring that, let's bring that right down onto here. And I'll show you how I'm going to separate those. So mixing it, I was just going to say I like how it mixes, how palette knife paintings mix. On the canvas, on the palette panel in this case. All right, so that's, and take your time because doing these marks and everything, you really want to go a little slower so you can really get it right. So here I have, this is too sloppy. So I'm going to go back in and adjust my drawing because that is too sloppy. I'm not okay with that. And I can use this edge like that. Okay, and that one, oops, just bumped my head. So I'm just drawing the lines in again, just to see where I'm at and what I need to do. And maybe that's, see, I was just doing that to see the planes, but this could be an artistic thing that you're doing. And I'm pushing on the knife, and that's bending, so I could get a little better control in there. Okay, so this, all right, so that has a big light right on this top edge, this top corner, because that's where it's really hitting. And this back edge. Up here there's actually a little bit of light too. So I'm going to put some of this lighter. Value there. And let's blend that. Okay. And then this, we do have to separate this panel. So this plane, the top of it, ooh, that line is way off. This perspective line here. Oh yeah, I knew that. So that should match this line. Like that. So I have to cut in with the dark. And by cut in, I mean that shape is there. So I'm going to go in and add dark and cut that just like that. And some of these little details, how it's just not sloppy and careless, are really going to help bring your drawing and painting level, and just make it better. And this top is dark here because of that shadow again. So I want a little lighter than that. Okay. All right, let's add some, let's make that top a little, actually that top I think is light enough. Once we get this front plane here as light as it needs to be. So I'm going to go back in with this value and try to, again, matching this line with this edge, and then, oh, that was perfect actually, because it stopped right where that shadow was, which I lucked out on that one. We'll call it years of experience and practice, but I'm not going to lie to myself. And that's all right. It's true though, it is practice. You have a lot better luck the more you practice. So, and then I'm going to again put this goes there. And when we see how bright that white is there, in comparison to this piece is way too dark now in our painting in relation to that. So if that's how light we see it or want it, this needs to be lightened up. So I'm going to go in with this value, and let's see. So I'm looking to see where the paint ends here. So I'm going to put that right there and hopefully just drag this down. Yep, and add a little bit of light on there. Or even this way. And even though this line here, this stroke there, I wasn't using it to make this vertical edge. If I don't fix that, that's going to ruin what I'm trying to do, because that's these lines need to be vertical, straight up and down, to make sure it shows the correct perspective. And you could also do that. You could go like that, and then just mix that again. And that's kind of up to you. That's what, the more you learn, the more you do it, the more you practice, you'll have more ideas on how to use this tool. But yeah, that's really showing on the video, the light and dark. That's nice. And let's see if we can get a little bit. This is a shiny box, so how are we going to make that look that way? I think we just need to put a little bit of dark from here so I don't think that did it, but let's add a little, try to add a little shadow where this box is resting, this top box. Okay, and now I'm going to just eliminate the perspective lines that I drew. And you can smudge that with your palette knife. Oh, let's clean up that one. Oh, that's got a little something on there. Okay. All right, so that's what we got. I hope you enjoyed that little oil painting demonstration video with the palette knife. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful new year. And let me get all this stuff in the way. And remember to smile, create, repeat.